Welcome to the Homewrecker podcast. It's me, Alex. And I'm joined as always by my beautiful, lovely, gorgeous, amazing wife, the lovely Monique.
Hello.
How are you?
I don't know. I'm confused.
You're confused.
Yeah.
All right.
Something
Why are you
weird.
confused?
Something weird happened today.
What
And
happened
well,
today?
this is just a mini episode. Something happened today. We're going to talk about it.
Well, we don't know if it's going to be a mini episode or not.
Okay, well,
I mean, now we're obviously you've already set that expectation.
yeah.
We
It
could have
goes as
said it.
long
We
as it
could have said
goes.
it at the end.
Whatever.
Anyhow.
We just wanted to talk about this. So, something strange happened today and we just felt like sharing it. So, Alex was outside working out. So why don't you just kind of start from there?
Okay. How detailed do we want to get here?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, I was doing a workout and I trained my legs today. And so the way I finish out this workout is I go outside and I grab a pair of kettlebells and I do what's called offset farmer walks, farmer carries. So what that means is you put one weight in one hand. In my case, I put a 40-pound kettlebell in one hand, and then you put a different weight in the other hand. So I had a 40-pound kettlebell and a 25-pound in the other hand. So that's an offset farmer walk, and you walk for time. And so I asked Monique before I went outside. I said, "Can you just keep an eye on me because it's hot outside. It's very hot,
Very
and
humid.
humid, and I'd been drinking water, but I'm already sweating like crazy. And this is what I'm about to do is going to be relatively difficult finisher for my workout. So just ask, can you just keep an eye on me? Just look out the window, make sure I'm good. If I'm not back in 10 minutes, come look for me because I may have passed out. Like, I'm being serious.
Yeah.
So I'm out there working out and I decided because I felt great out there, felt full of energy. And I decided I'm going to do a little bit extra. And I could feel you watching me. Like I didn't look over at the house or anything. I didn't look up at the window or anything like that. I was concentrating and focusing, looking straight ahead because we have a rock driveway and I'm walking and I'm carrying heavy weight, obviously, and I don't want to trip, twist my ankle, anything like that. So I'm looking at the ground in front of me. I never look at the house, but I could feel you watching me. So you know what? She's keeping an eye on me. I know it's been about 10 minutes, but I can do more. And I'm going to do more because I'm trying my ass off to get in really great shape again for no other reason than I just want to. So I said, I'm going to push myself a little more because I can. And I know she's watching me. I just could feel you watching me.
And I was between like the windows we have. I was looking out, I was watching him, keeping an eye on him. And I'm like, well, it's been longer than 10 minutes, but I can see he's working out. So he probably decided to just go longer. And I was totally watching him.
Mm-hmm. And I finished. I did way more than I thought I would. I thought it was only going to be about an hour today. I ended up hitting almost an hour and a half. And I come back inside. I'm drenched in sweat. And I was telling you about. Oh, go ahead.
I just want to say, did you notice anything strange when you were working out outside?
No, I didn't. Not at all. The dog was outside in the kennel. The dog was barking at me and everything, and the
The
chickens
chickens,
were clucking and
as they do,
as they do, like nonstop from morning to night.
especially when we go out and they're like, "Oh,
They're
hey,"
yeah, they're
they
exactly
get
yeah.
louder.
Anytime we get near them, they get louder.
They're excited.
And so no, nothing was out of the ordinary. It was just very hot and humid. And when I come back inside, I'm talking to you and I was explaining to you what I did extra and why it took so much longer. And I said what I just said now. I could feel you watching me and you told me that you were and we went through all that.
Well, I said,
And I said,
did you see me in the window? And he's like, no, I could just feel it.
yeah, and it's just weird. Like I just could feel you watching me. I
Mm-hmm.
knew I was going to be all right. I can do this because I yeah, exactly. But it was just weird. Like I just felt you. I don't know how else to say it other than that. And so what's funny is I was explaining to you what I was doing and what it does, and it's telling you that my shoulders and my hands and my arms and my traps and everything were burning because of having to hold the weight. And I was explaining to you why you do the offset. You put more weight in one side than the other, and then you just alternate them. One one trip up and down the driveway or whatever was what I was doing. And you just alternate the weight. And what it does is it engages your core more because you're really having a struggle to keep your body upright and straight and walk for the distance and everything. And my grip, by the time I was at the very end, it was so hard to hold on to that 40-pound dumbbell because I was fatigued. And I was telling you how my hands were really burning and my shoulders were really burning. And then you said to me,
I was like, that's funny because when I was looking out the window watching him, my shoulder started to bother me. It was very sore. And, you know, I've had a shoulder issue for a long time, but it wasn't bothering me at all today. It was only when I was looking at him out the window all of a sudden, and I had to start like moving it and like rotating it around, but it was very, very sore.
you said you felt a burning,
Yeah,
right?
it was
Yeah.
like burning and sore. It
Kind of
was,
weird because
yeah,
that's exactly what I was dealing with the last two trips up and down the driveway. By that point, I was burning. So that was now that's not what even this is just a build up to the strange thing that happened.
strangeness.
But we thought that'd be kind of cool to share with that, and also just to illustrate that I, I was just outside and everything was fine. Everything was
Everything
as
is
normal.
normal.
Everything felt fine. So let's move on.
So I went to go get our dog Freya to go feed her, take her out of the outdoor kennel, bring her in to feed her. And we have a log cabin home. And the way the house is on the corners, it's like the logs stick out. And it's almost like sort of little log steps, sort of like there's a gap in between the logs where the other ones go the opposite way. And the birds will make nests at the very top one where like the log
Yeah,
sticks
the
out
very top
under
log.
like the eave of the roof because it's covered. So there's some protection. And the one, I guess, towards the far end of where our living room is on the opposite side of the house facing the road, there's a mama bird there. And she has her little baby birds. And every day I say hi and I love you. And I talk to them. And I go outside to get Freya, our dog. And I just felt something didn't feel right. Something just felt wrong. It felt weird. And I look and I see the mama bird is like frozen. She's not moving. And she's just looking out, like staring out into like the nothingness, like in front of her, like facing the road. And so, what?
I'm sorry, I don't mean. I'm looking out the window now, and I can see the nest from where we are, and I can see them
Yeah, we can
all.
see from our
They're
window.
just you can see them just moving right now. They're all moving around. They're always moving around.
Yeah.
But go ahead. Sorry.
And so she's not moving. And I'm like, Mama bird, are you okay? And she's not even blinking. And it was hard to even see her breathing. And I'm thinking, did she get into something? Is she sick? Like, what happened? It was weird. And I was getting a very weird feeling. The air was very thick. I mean, and it cooled down. It wasn't even hot outside. It was like, it's hard to explain. Like, the sun wasn't out, it was behind a cloud, but the air was so thick and it felt just so dense.
So this is what maybe not even 10 minutes after I had come
Yeah, not even
inside.
10 minutes after you come inside.
So you at that point is that when you came and got me, or was more? Oh,
No.
there was more.
So then I'm like, and I didn't see the babies. And I'm thinking something is not right. I get a little step stool and I climb up towards her. She's not moving. Usually, like if I go near, she'll fly away. She wasn't moving. And I kind of reach my arms up. I'm still like a foot from her that I can reach. And I clap. And she didn't even move, but I could see her breathing and she blinked. And I'm like, okay. But it was so weird. She just would not lose that stare until like just out. And I didn't see the babies. And I'm thinking, is something wrong? Did something happen to the babies? Did
She was
one,
staring up.
it was like
You
up and
said out,
out.
but it was upward,
It was
like up at the
like the
sky.
head was tilted up, but like the eyes are just all dark. So I can't see which specific direction.
But the head's pointed
Yeah.
out up.
Like
Yeah.
up, yeah, and forward. So I'm like, okay, something's weird. And I'm looking around like, did a baby fall? Like, and it felt so weird outside. And it felt like something was really off. It felt like something was wrong. And I put the stool away. I go get our dog. I bring her inside and feed her. And I go and get Alex. And I I told him what happened. I'm like, can you just come outside? And so then you come outside
So I
with
come
me.
outside, and it's not even, like I said, not even 10 minutes since I had been out there, and yeah, I could right away. The you said it best when we were out there. It felt eerie.
Yeah. I'm like, it
So
feels eerie.
yeah, so it was first thing I noticed. It's very quiet. When I
Yes.
say it's very quiet, I mean you don't hear any insects. You don't hear the crickets chirping. You don't hear the frogs, whatever they do, ribbiting, whatever their
We
noise is,
have so
because
many
we have so many
creatures out
different
here.
animals
It
out
was
here. Yeah,
loud. It was. And
you
the
hear
only
none of
thing,
that. The only thing
there
you
was
could
a
hear,
robin talking to another bird. It was like a triangular direction.
yes,
These three birds were talking to each other, and it was like a triangle because there was
yeah,
one on one tree in front of us, one kind of in the back, and one off to the side.
but everything was silent. There
Silent.
was no birds flying around. We always have birds that are just flying around in
Yep.
our
On our
yard, picking
yard.
up worms, whatever they
Tons
do.
of robins.
Tons of them flying around at all times.
Yeah.
No squirrels, no chipmunks, nothing running around, and our chickens were all
Which
silent.
is weird because anytime we go out, they get loud.
Especially if we get near them, they get loud because they think we're either gonna come bring them treats, let them out so they can roam around for a
Pet
while,
them,
whatever it
whatever.
is. Yeah, and they were silent. It was very, like you said, eerie, and it was not hot anymore,
Oh.
like you mentioned. And looking at the bird was very strange because those eggs hatched what, maybe a week ago,
Maybe 2, 3 weeks ago. I
something
think they're
like
getting
that.
big. The babies
they're
are getting
they're
bigger.
getting bigger, but they didn't look big enough to be flying away as
No,
of
no, no,
this
no.
morning.
Definitely not.
So it was just strange because you brought me over to the bird, and the babies were not, we couldn't
We
see them
couldn't see them.
because they were down, but the mama was there and she was still. Now it had been what, at least 10-15 minutes since you
It was
noticed
it
it.
was probably about, since I noticed, just under 10 minutes.
Okay, so at least 10 minutes,
Hmm.
and she's still just staring up and just staring out. It
And
was very
and we
bizarre,
kind of walked away from her going towards the chickens.
and they
And
didn't get
they didn't
loud.
get loud. And as we were coming back, I noticed her mouth was closed. I go, Alex, sorry, her mouth was like wide open. And I go, Alex, Alex, look at her mouth, look at her mouth. And by the time we turned around, she had closed it.
By the time I turned around, she
I'm so
closed
well,
it because I didn't see
because
it
I
open.
turned to
But you,
you after,
okay,
and we both turned. But it was weird. And then so we're like, okay, this is weird. We can agree that something is strange,
something is very off.
and
It
we could
just
hear a
felt
chemtrail
off. We
jet
could
going
hear,
off
yeah.
in the sky.
I've come to notice that they have a certain sound,
Mhm.
and they fly so high up here, like where we are, that if the sky is not totally blue and clear, you can't see them because they're up above all the clouds here. But you know what they are, just because you get used to things and sounds out here. But yeah, that's all we could hear was that, a chemtrail plane
And then
flying
the
up
three
overhead,
birds talking to each other,
and
and
the
that was
three
it.
robins talking to each other. Everything else was silent, and you could tell they weren't like doing the normal, like what birds do, like their little singing or whatever.
It
It
was,
was weird. It was like they were like communicating. Like one would squawk or whatever they do, and then the other one over on the other side would say something back almost, and then another one would say something. It was like they were
and
triangulating, but the
and
one we were next to was silent.
silent. And I forgot to mention, when I felt like something was wrong and I hear the birds talking, I I weirdly went into this, like, almost like a trance for a second, and like a weird meditation kind of moment. And I was listening, and I was like starting to feel like I could start to like understand what they were saying. And then my mind was like, "Oh wait, you're picking up on it." And I came right out of it. It was weird.
That is, yeah,
It was
that is
kind, it was
weird.
very bizarre. It was like I knew, I got that they were talking to each other, like I could feel it. They were communicating, like warning each other.
Yeah,
That's what it felt like. They were communicating because like something like was off. Something was wrong. Um
so I guess now, I mean, we ended up coming inside. I ended up coming inside.
you came
I came
inside.
inside, and then you went and got your mom, right?
I told my parents, and my mom came out, and she's like, "Yeah, it's not hot." And she's like, "It is weird." And we go over to the bird. She's like, "That, yeah, that's weird." And then all of a sudden, the air got lighter, and it felt different. And all of a sudden, Mama Bird starts moving again. And I'm watching her, and she's moving, and I see the babies' heads are popping up. And I'm like, okay, the babies are there. And it's like the sound just came back. You know what I just realized too? like we have a pond and you can hear because we've had so much rain, the water always running.
Yeah, there's like a little natural waterfall
Like a
that flows.
yeah, and like a stream, and like you couldn't hear that.
That's true. Yeah, we couldn't even hear that.
That was weird.
That's right.
I'm just
Yeah.
realizing that.
Yeah.
But it was like everything just started coming back. The birds started, making noises again. But I noticed Mama, it's weird. I saw something through the corner of my eye that was like that flew across the sky. And Mama went over and she put her wing over her babies in the nest. And I was looking out and I could not see anything. But it was very strange. It was very bizarre.
So, what do you think it was now? Now that we've detailed the experience, which is very weird. That like the only thing I can say is you said it best. It felt eerie out there,
Hmm.
just very eerie. So then, of course, we start hypothesizing. What could this
What
be?
could it be?
Obviously, we don't know, but was it like like the predator like that kind of a thing
Was
where
it
it's
something out
something
there?
camouflage. I mean, you saw something out of the corner of your eye flying across the sky.
But it
What
looked like
was
a
that?
bird. It was
Oh,
almost
okay,
like
all right.
bird size. And I'm thinking, was that a hawk? Was it just like
Oh,
another
okay, okay.
bird? I don't know. It just went across. But
Was it like was it I immediately said did they like turn on some kind of weather technology or something, and it just that changed the density in the air and
did
the
they
temperature?
activate the 5G with that?
Yeah, did something get turned on and the animals and everything just went silent? Like what happened?
It was
What
weird.
was it? It was
For a
just
bird to be totally frozen, like I've never seen that before.
it. And I kind of like now looking back, it's almost like was looking out and had the babies down,
Mhm.
like on guard for
Yes,
something.
exactly. That's what I was
That's
thinking. Like,
yeah,
because
like
when
some
they
kind of a
looked, it was
predator or
like
something.
she
That's
was protecting them.
she was yeah,
Like they knew to stay down.
like
It
she wouldn't even blink. She would
no.
like it was very just very bizarre, very strange. Was just looking up and out, almost like frozen there. It was just very weird. But so what would cause something like that? I immediately go to was it some kind of a did they do something with the weather? Like did they hit a
Now,
button and activate something?
people say that
Who knows?
animals will act weird right before a natural disaster.
Yeah. Yeah,
But usually
that's
that's
true.
more of like the migration pattern of the birds flying, like the way they fly starts getting all crazy.
Sure.
Animals might go to higher ground, something like that. This was different.
Yeah, this was just like something just happened and immediately the energy changed.
It and that's the thing. And the energy felt very like low vibrational. It was very dense.
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned to you, like, I think if I hadn't still had my post workout endorphins just firing, I probably would have felt like garbage out there. Like, oh, it's
And
just
I
gross
felt
out
like I
here.
was getting a weird pressure in
I
my head.
I didn't have that. I didn't have that, but it definitely just felt off. It felt just very eerie, like you
The
said.
energy felt draining.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, if I hadn't just finished working out and been like on that, still had that post workout endorphin rush, I
Yeah.
probably would have felt worse than I did, but I had that going for me at least.
Yeah.
But yeah, just very, very weird.
And I was thinking, could it be something like geomagnetic? Could there be some kind of geomagnetic storm that could be like throwing something off? But would it cause the animals to do that?
Well, I mean, that's the thing. We don't know
I don't know.
because with animals, anything. I mean, they have senses and they're tuned in to things that we're unable to tune into. So who knows? I mean, it could have been something to that effect. It could be maybe do they sense something's going on or something did go on
Mhm.
or something happened and we're not aware of it because we can't comprehend it at our level of the
It
way our senses
and
work.
the
I
whole
don't
thing
know.
happened within 15, it was less than 20 minutes, 15
Yeah,
to
it,
20
it
minutes.
wasn't a very long event, but
No. But then I start thinking as we're talking about it, we've also had some weird events before, and we've talked about before when we had the weird weather with when we were shoveling, and then all of a sudden
yeah,
the
the
sound got
horns.
weird and the
Yeah.
horns, and
Yeah.
then like the weird thing about the traffic, like the sound. And I don't know. I don't know what it could be. All I knew was something didn't feel right, something felt off, it felt the energy was draining. The air was very thick and dense, but it wasn't warm. It wasn't even like humid. It was just, ugh, I don't know. And it felt very eerie. That's the only way to explain it. And
Yeah.
everything but three birds in a triangular pattern were talking to each other.
Yeah. And they were robins. We could see them.
Yep.
We could see where they were. We could hear them, obviously. And the bird we were next to was not part of that triangle because that bird
No.
was guarding her nest.
And oh, I don't know if I remember saying this, if I said this, but after everything went back to normal, she started making sounds again.
Oh, you talking about the mama
Yeah,
robin?
the mama.
Yeah, yeah.
She was making sounds again. It was like all of a sudden, okay,
Crisis averted. We can get
yeah,
back
we can
business
go
as
back.
usual. Yeah, weird. Very very bizarre.
Yeah.
Very bizarre. So we don't know what that was, but it was definitely something happened.
So, okay, what's today? Wednesday, July 12th.
Wednesday, July 12th. We are recording this at 7:55 as of right now. It's
And
7:55
when did this
p.m.
happen? It was about 5:30 because that's when I go feed the
5:30.
dog.
Yeah,
So this
5:30.
happened around 5:30 on Wednesday, July 12th. Anyone listening, did you have a weird occurrence like this happen to
If you were
you? Were
outside
you
at that time,
outside? Did you notice anything?
we were in New Hampshire.
Yeah, we're in New Hampshire.
So I don't know if that was a statewide thing or
I
just
don't know.
something that was specific to our region.
Or just
But
specific to our land, like our
yeah,
property.
yeah, I
Oh, and
don't
the
know.
dog stopped barking. Our
That's
neighbors,
right.
like all of our neighbors have dogs, and even though like you can't see the houses, like you
You
can
can
hear
hear
the
the
dogs
dogs
off on in
barking.
a distance.
Yeah,
And once all the noise came back, they started barking again.
yeah, that's right. They were we didn't hear them
Yeah,
either
our dog was
unfortunately.
inside eating, so she's like, "Ooh, food," like whatever. But it was weird because oh, and when I was checking out the bird, our dog was quiet too. She
You talking about
y
the first time? Oh,
Yeah,
okay. Okay.
because, like, usually she's like, "Oh, I wanna eat, come get me," um, and she starts going crazy, but she was just quiet. So, I don't know. I don't know what it was, but if you had a similar experience or if you have an idea as to what it is, please let us know.
Yeah, I'm going with some kind of some kind of a weather event, either natural or man made.
Mm.
I'm gonna say man made
Oh,
because
probably.
that's where my mind goes now for everything.
Mhm. I mean, we did an episode on chemtrails last year, and chemtrails
They're
everywhere.
always spraying up here, so
Yeah, it's awful.
yeah. So I don't know. That's what we think. Some kind of a weather event occurred. Some type of anomaly. Very strange. And that was the other thing. The sky very gray, not cloudy, just gray. And then after the event
The sun came out.
happened, the sun came out and the sky blue again. Just very weird. Like
And the sun was out. Like we had a little thunderstorm earlier, like off and on. So now
yeah,
we
but that
get
was
like,
at like
but
two
it's like a
o'clock.
bluish gray, like it's a certain like it has like blue to it. This was just a very like dull,
Just a
colorless
dull,
gray.
yeah, very dull.
Not like a thunderstorm coming in. It was different.
Yeah, it was very weird. And then, like I said, and now, I mean, even looking out now, the sky's blue.
I mean, there are clouds
You
and
can see
stuff,
some
but
clouds,
yeah.
but it's blue sky in the back. It's not gray
Animals are
like it
back to
was.
normal. Chickens are
Everything's
squawking.
normal. Yeah, crazy.
All right.
So anyway, on that, yeah, if you, we figured, yeah, let's just fire up, let's record, let's talk about it right now before we forget
I
while it's
know.
still fresh in our minds. It just happened. Let's talk about it. If anybody else had a similar experience, let us know. If you have
Please.
any idea what this could possibly be, or if you just have a crazy idea, whatever,
We want to know.
we want to know. Yeah, because we'll entertain anything. We're curious and we want to know what
Very
the hell's going on.
curious.
So on that note, until next time, this has been a mini episode, I guess,
Yeah.
a bonus, if you
A
will.
little baby one.
You might get some of these here and there as we see fit. Um, until next time, I am Alex. I've been joined as always by my beautiful, lovely, gorgeous, amazing wife, the lovely Monique.
And you've been listening to the Homewrecker podcast.